Hello everyone. This video is about the opening that is called Sveshnikov Sicilian, and I'll be explaining the first starting moves, and after that I will be posting like 3 or 4 games on the same opening so that you can watch it out and see how it goes. And not only this Sveshnikov Sicilian, but I will be starting like with the Sicilian series where when White played the pawn to e4, you reply with pawn c5. Now, what replies you can face here is like knight f3 is the way, knight c3 is the way, c3, pawn to d4, pawn to f4. These are the pretty much replies that White can go for, and I'll be posting all of these openings one by one. First, I'm going to start with the open Sicilian, that is knight. Now, against knight f3, what you can play? Black can play pawn g6, pawn d6, pawn knight c6. These are the different replies that black can go for. And I will start with knight c6 first. I will show you one difference between knight c6 and pawn d6, like how exactly it works. Let's say, okay, first let's say knight f6, knight c6. And now the whole point of playing knight f3 is to control over the d4 square so that white can play the pawn to d4. And now you take back with the pawn, not with the knight, remember that. And now here, since you have a knight on c6, the white cannot take it with the queen. And just imagine if you played the normal open Sicilian by playing the pawn to d6. Then after d4, c takes d4, we have queen takes d4. This is so-called check over variation. So you should check it out, and it's a very great opening. And okay, let's just start. Let's start with this one. So we have knight c6, pawn d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4. Now, no need to take back, otherwise, again, the queen will simply come here, so what's the point? So here, a very natural looking move, knight f6. What is that knight doing? Obviously, it attacks the pawn on e4. Now, what do you do? Bishop d3, if you are thinking it's really bad, because white will end up losing this knight. So again, very logical move, knight c3. Develops the piece, protects the pawn. Now, this is the standard position, and here, okay, you can play d6 or g6 going with the classical dragon or something like that, but the move that I'm talking about, the opening that I'm talking about is the Sveshnikov Sicilian. Now, Sveshnikov, this variation is named after a grandmaster, Latvian grandmaster. His name is Evgeny Sveshnikov. And so the idea is you are giving up the d5 square, but you are right now attacking the knight on this d4 square. Like, you're asking a question, what are you going to do about this knight? The knight has replies like, okay, the knight has a lot of squares to move right now, but the best one is the knight to d5, b5. This is the best way. Let's say if you try something like knight f3. The problem with the, not problem I would say, but it's just giving black little advantage here. How? Bishop b4 pins the knight. Now, of course the threat is taking the knight and then picking up this pawn. And now, if you try to play the bishop d3 to protect the pawn, then white will end up having doubled isolated pawn. So that's not you wanna have right in the opening. Okay, knight e2 makes a little bit makes sense that okay, now if the bishop comes, then white will have a knight here protecting it. So there will be no double pawns, and there will be no threat of capturing this pawn at all. But the thing is, what you're going to do about this bishop? The bishop is getting locked up. So basically giving some, little passive positions for white. Knight b3, do the same thing, and let's say immediate this is coming. So here the move that you should play is, that white should play is knight db5. Now, look at that. It provokes, forces black to play the pawn to d6. Otherwise, black will lose, end up losing this dark square bishop because the knight is coming on to d6. It attacks the king, giving a check, and you obviously don't want to play king e7. So you will have to, give up your dark square bishop, and the queen will come here. And very, very, very unpleasant position. Let's say if you try playing something like a6, the knight will come to d6. You attack it, and the queen will take. And now this is very, very unpleasant position for black. You don't want to play like this. So here what we do to stop the knight from coming on to d6, only way is to play the pawn to d6. Now look at that. Now after d6, white has two replies, that is knight d5 and bishop g5. I will be posting 2 games on each lines, how to play, and the different ideas, middle game ideas or end game ideas. You will see how it goes, how this opening goes. This is just about the opening lecture, nothing else. So the game will be coming in the next video, so you can subscribe to my channel and you will see it. And now let's say if knight d5 comes, what we have to do? It seems that this is a free pawn, but no, not really, because if you take the pawn, then you have knight c7 check, picks up the rook. That's what you don't want to do. So here, when the knight comes to d5, you simply take the knight, and now pawn will attacks the knight. And now here knight has this move e7 or b8. The b8 is the main theoretical line, like why you're going to b8. Like it seems like you are underdeveloping your knight, but the thing is, it gives you a lot of good positions. How, I will show you. First, that this knight will come to this square, and now black's plan is very clear. He's going to play bishop e7, castles, and now later on he will play pawn to f5. I will show you. Let's say c4 comes, you play bishop e7, bishop e2, castles, castles, and now we have pawn f5. This is the way that you get a position. And now, taking the advantage of the fact that this diagonal will not be used by white to create any sort of attacks on your king because of his white's own pawn on these two light squares. So that's why it makes sense to use these two pawns and make best use of it. And now the knight can come to this square, and knight can go here also, maybe here also, depending on the position what it needs. So yeah, this is how you play once the knight comes to d5. The other variation in the same opening in the Sveshnikov is bishop g5 line, opening the knight. Now look at that. What exactly you will do here? Like your knight is pinned, and if you think let's unpin it quickly by playing bishop e7, it's not a good decision by black, because now what will happen, you might lose the d6 pawn. How? I will show you. Bishop takes knight, and if you take back with the bishop, then obviously you're going to lose the d6 pawn. And if you take with the pawn, now this ugly looking bishop is is the disturbing element for your position, because now what you're going to do about what is the future of this dark square bishop? It's completely dark. The thing is, you wanna have a position like this, but having a bishop on f8 to g7. So in that case, taking with the pawn will be very, very good. Then you have a bishop here, and later on you can play pawn f5 takes. This bishop can take it back like that. You can get that position. And here also, this knight will simply come to d5. Like now, the threat is, of course, knight c7 check is coming, so you need to do something about it. Let's say if you do castle, then we have knight takes the bishop, and no matter how you are taking this knight, you are again gonna end up losing this pawn. So yeah, that is why immediate bishop e7 doesn't do anything. What we do here, we play pawn a6. Now it's time to play the pawn to a6, kicks the knight away. Now the knight can go back, and once the knight moves back, you play the pawn to b5, like going for the b4 square, and you will do this annoying 4 for white. So this one of the knight has to be removed. Like okay, going back is really passive. So this knight will come to d5. Now the d5 knight is coming here. What do you do? This is pinned. Now it's now this is the good time to play the bishop to e7 now. Now look at that. Here, if bishop takes bishop, you're going to take it back with the bishop. You are not losing this pawn. And here, if knight takes, then it's not a great decision for white, because white is having a knight on d5. It's a very strong knight. It's a very good outpost for this knight. You really, if you're a good chess player, you really don't want to give up this strong knight, like so easily. Now here, black has a move that is pawn takes. Now look at that. Now this position again looks like, okay, your bishop is here, and what you are going to do? Why are you doubling up the pawn? The thing is, it's attacking the bishop, so bishop has to move, and now you play pawn f4. Look at that. Now if the pawn takes, then you develop this bishop, and now the bishop is coming here. Bishop is going there. You do castle. This is a very pleasant position. Black can enjoy it very well. So yeah, now after bishop e7, okay, this position will come, and then let's say c2 will come. Planning this knight go back to c2, and this knight will come into the game. Okay, c3, pawn will come to c3. So yeah, this is the line. And one more thing, after pawn a6, there is one in between move that white can try. Instead of moving the knight back, white will immediately take your knight on f6. Look, attacks your queen. Now what do you do? Obviously, you are more than enough to spot that taking with the queen is not a great idea, because of knight c7 check is coming. So you will have to take this thing with the pawn, and now you can see the bishop is immediately coming to g7, and again you later on play the pawn to f5. Let's say knight goes back, you can immediately play pawn f5. If pawn takes, your bishop is coming out. So yeah, this is the Sveshnikov Sicilian, and like I said, after this d6 move, I will be posting two different games on these each line. Other than these, these move, if white is trying something, let's say, okay, in one of my game, my opponent has played pawn to a4 also. I end up winning that game as black, and Bishop e2, okay, like again this will come and this will come and then this will come, and now what do you do? Like you can go like this, but I think now this is a free pawn because now there is no knight on b5 who can give a check to your king, right? So yeah, that is the thing. And after these all of these things, let's say after bishop g5, I'll show you one more line is there, and I will be posting a game on that also. There is a sacrifice that black goes with this thing, like bishop cross b5, pawn takes, knight takes back, this knight comes here. This is sacrifice, so move which can be playable, like in blitz and rapid you can try as white. So I will be posting that also. So yeah, this is the Sveshnikov. It's all about the Sveshnikov opening. And one more opening is there after in open Sicilian is when you play the pawn to d6. Like I said, the d4 will come and you take back with the pawn. White has this option of going with check over. Now in some cases, let's say there is a probability here like 50-50% chance. Let's say if he takes with the knight, then again you might have the position of Sveshnikov, like this knight f6 attacks the pawn, knight c3 protects the pawn, and now e5. Now again knight will go to here, then you play knight c6. Now this again you will get a position like Sveshnikov, just with a different move orders. And other than this e5, there is another opening called g6, that's called dragon variation. I have already posted a game on this dragon variation between Nepo and Fabi, like Ian Nepomniachtchi and Fabiano Caruana. So you can check out the game. The link is in description. So that's a very great game. And this is completely another opening. And there is another reply, that is a6 by black. This is the one of the most complicated Sicilian ever. It's called the Najdorf variation. And okay, like I said, e5 is already I have mentioned. What is it? So yeah, this is how the Sveshnikov goes. So you can just see it and try to drop down your opinions about any moves. If you have anything, just pin to the comment section, so I will see it and I will review it obviously. And like I said, I will be posting 2 or 3 4 5 more games on the same opening, and then we will switch to the next opening that is against that is possible against Sicilian, that is knight c3 closed Sicilian, or maybe pawn f4 d4 the Sicilian. These are the Sicilian are also there. And okay, one more, knight f3 knight c6. There is another opening called Rossolimo variation, that is the bishop b5 line. I'll be posting this also. So it's a complete series. Sicilian series will be going on from now. So it's a great game. That is all.